Welcome back to the Clean My Space channel, or welcome for the first time. We are going to talk today about 15 cleaning tips that will absolutely change the way you clean. And why should you listen to me? Because my name's Melissa Maker and I am an accidental cleaning expert, which means I hate cleaning, but back in 2006, I decided to start my own cleaning business to help people just like myself. And then in 2011, we started making YouTube videos. And here I am. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you a collection of 15 of my absolute favorite tips that will totally change the way you clean, whether you love it or hate it, like me. And just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. And if you find cleaning challenging, I have come up with a system that totally changed the way that I approached cleaning, both as a regular cleaning person, but more so as a professional cleaning person. And I also used this particular system to train my staff. It helps you get your cleaning done at least 50% faster, and it totally reimagines what cleaning can be, no matter how messy or how clean the room is that you need to approach. It's called the 3-Wave Cleaning System, and I've got a link to that ebook in the description box down below. If you've ever gone on a dance floor and feel like you dance with 2 left feet, that's kind of how somebody who is an inexperienced cleaner might feel when they tackle a room. And that's because they just don't have their moves down. So as someone who's been cleaning for a while, I can tell you, there are some things that you can do that will literally cut your cleaning time in half. The first one is to clean top to bottom and left to right. And you always clean your way out of a room instead of backing your way into a corner. By simply changing your mindset and reminding yourself, I pick a starting point, I start at the top, I work my way to the bottom, and I work my way around the room, you will not miss anything, and you will not have to re-clean anything that's fallen on a lower surface after you've cleaned a higher one. The second thing is using the S pattern. Now, I have met so many people over the years of doing this whole Clean My Space thing, and they will say, Melissa, you changed the way I clean just because of that S pattern. The S pattern, if you don't know, is that cool little thing that you do when you're cleaning a horizontal or a vertical surface. It allows you to cover the entire surface area using the most efficient moves. So you're not wasting energy, you're not wasting time, and you're not making a clean surface dirty again by using a circular pattern. When we leave a client's home, they not only expect it to look clean, they expect it to smell clean. Now, what a clean home smells like varies from person to person. We know what we generally want it to smell like, and we know what we don't want it to smell like. Now, I think smell is a really good clue, because if your house doesn't smell great, it means that there's something going on. Maybe your fabric needs to be refreshed, or there was an accident that happened on there. If you have like a rotting smell coming from a part of your home, you have to act like a police dog, and you really need to sniff around and figure out what's going on so you can find the source of that odor, deal with it, and get rid of it. Because once you do, your house will actually start to smell a lot better. Point is, use your nose, figure out the problem, and make it right. On the topic of cleaning products, there are 2 camps here. There's DIY or homemade cleaning products, and then there's store-bought or specialty products. And I want to make a case for both. In our house, about 60% of the cleaning products that we have are DIY. They're pantry-based cleaning products that we've whipped up. They're safe, they're easy, they're cost-effective, and generally, they work pretty well. In fact, we just put out an ebook on our website, available at cleanmyspace.com/shop, with 50 DIY cleaning product recipes. So you can go check that out if you're interested. In the same breath, actually I took a new breath, but figuratively speaking, in the same breath, I'm gonna tell you that store-bought cleaning products are equally as important, because sometimes they have formulations or they're able to do things that you simply cannot whip up in your kitchen. And I don't like wasting my time when it comes to cleaning, so I want to get a product that is designed to do the job well and efficiently and quickly. On the topic of cleaning your shower, every single time you step out of that shower, stop yourself and say, did I squeegee today? And if you haven't, add a few extra steps to your daily step count, get your squeegee, and start to squeegee the shower. It takes under a minute and it makes all the difference. I have been preaching the benefits of squeegeeing, which is now a verb, your shower for years and years and years. And the reason this is so important to do is because as you shower, as you wash things off your bod, it flicks itself onto shower glass and tiles. Then you step out like the classy person you are and you just think it's gonna dry and deal with itself. Well, what happens is once the water dissipates, that residue is left behind from anything that came off your body or that was stuck in the water, minerals. So what you get over time is soap scum. If you squeegee your shower and just use a rubber blade to get all of that off the shower tiles and the glass, you will never have to worry about buildup, ever. Chad and I have had a glass panel in our bathroom for 3 years now. That thing looks perfect any day of the week because we just have a family rule. You shower, you squeegee. When you're cleaning the bathroom, don't think about spraying and wiping. Think about cleaning your bathroom in 2 stages. First, pre-treating, and then second, wiping and scrubbing. If you do it all at once, you will actually spend more time because product won't have had the chance to work, whether it's cleaning soap scum in your shower or a grimy sink. If you pre-treat areas in your bathroom, so you work your way around the bathroom, kind of spray it down, let the product do its work, and then get back to your starting point and start cleaning, the product will have done the heavy lifting for you. Get out the appropriate cleaning tool and your work will be slashed. Once I started incorporating this into my own cleaning routine, as well as the way that I would clean professionally and train people to clean, game changer. Do I clean first or do I declutter first is really the chicken-egg question of cleaning. But here's what I'll tell you. The less stuff you have in your home, the easier your home is to clean, the less work you have to do, and the more streamlined and tidy your home looks. So when it comes to cleaning, you really want to think about not only cleaning your space, but beautifying your space. And part of that has to do with reducing the amount of clutter in your home. We have tons of decluttering, 10 things to toss style videos that can help you get there. But then also when you're done cleaning a space, you really want to take a couple extra minutes to add that extra something, and that really comes down to tidying. What I used to train my staff on, and what I still believe works really well, is what I call lining things up in a parallel and perpendicular fashion. So you basically find the edge of a surface, and you either line items up parallel to the edge or perpendicular to the edge. And just having those straight angles instantly makes the space look tidier. That extra couple of minutes that you can invest in really beautifying your space will not only make your space feel clean after you've spent a bunch of time cleaning it, but it will feel more beautiful. Stains happen all the time and you've got to catch them quickly. But what do you catch them with? Well, you can make your own stain remover. This one is very reliable. The caveat is that you have to whip it up on demand. It's 2 parts hydrogen peroxide to 1 part dish soap. So you can do 2 teaspoons hydrogen peroxide, 1 teaspoon dish soap, whatever the volume of the stain is, just whip it up on demand. Hydrogen peroxide becomes unstable as it gets poured out of its brown bottle. So you've got to only use it on demand so it works well. Now, if you don't want to make up your own, you can also have a store-bought product on hand. I have a couple that I go to. OxiClean is a great one. They've got a ready-made spray, as does Puracy. OxiClean is obviously an oxygen bleach-based product. Puracy is an enzyme cleaner-based product. Both work really well. The point is, you've got to treat your stain as soon as it hits so that you have the best chance of getting rid of it. The next time you go to tackle a toilet, try this first. Roll up your sleeves. That's the first thing you have to do. Next, get your toilet bowl brush and you are going to push the bowl water down the chute to expose more of the bowl for a more thorough clean. The way that you do this, you're kind of like shoving all that water down the chute a la sword fighting. You'll see that the bowl is now exposed. You can spray or treat that area with whatever product you're using and then scrub it and flush it. It'll fill back up to its regular level, but you will get a much more effective and efficient toilet bowl clean that way. If you're a believer in the law of attraction, then you'll also understand my mess law, which is mess attracts mess. Masses are magnetic, and it's the same thing with clutter. If you have clutter, you're more likely to bring more clutter into your home. The good news is the reverse is true. If your house is tidy, you want to keep it tidy. If your house has less stuff in it, you want to keep it that way. So the nice thing is, as you start to make these changes toward minimalism, you'll actually start to appreciate having less in your home. You'll want less in your home. You'll feel less tempted to bring more into your home. And that's really great too, especially if you're deciding to go room by room or space by space. For example, if you just start by decluttering your kitchen counter, you might feel so good about that perhaps you decide, maybe I want to declutter my kitchen drawers and then my pantry, and then I want to take that into my bedroom and my office. And slowly but surely, that feeling of minimalism starts to attract more minimalism into your life. So when you get stuck, just think about the law of attraction. Trays aren't just cute things from design blogs. They're actually really useful in a space like the bathroom because they allow you to corral all of your products into one little area. Before I used a tray, my stuff was just all over the place, all over the time. I struggle with organization and I have 1 or 2 bathroom products. So we use a tray in our master bathroom. Chad has his, I have mine, and our stuff, our little bottles and creams, they all go on the trays. Laundering towels is like entirely its own topic. In fact, I have a whole video about how to take care of your smelly or stiff towels, and I'll link that for you down below. But one tip I want to give you if you notice that your towels are stinky is you can do a 2-cycle fix. The first thing you're going to do, you're not going to use any detergent. The first thing you're going to do is launder using a vinegar-only load. So you're gonna pop a cup of vinegar into the load itself, and then you can pour vinegar in all of the compartments as well. It can be the pre-wash, it can be the detergent, it can be the fabric softener. Just go to town with vinegar. Once that cycle is done, you can do a second cycle, but this time you're gonna put a cup of baking soda into the washing machine. Directly into the drum, not into any of the detergent compartments. And what this is going to do is to further help deodorize. So the vinegar kind of helps break down any deposits from detergent, any of the dinginess. It helps a bit with the odors. And the baking soda is like the 2 of the 1-2 punch. So do that cycle, the 2 cycles, then pop the towels in your dryer, make sure they're nice and dry, and they will come out fluffy and smelling great. When you walk into a kitchen, if you see a dirty sink, it just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the kitchen. So I always like to make sure that my sink is clean. That means that it's shiny, dry, and there's nothing in that little drain catcher. So the way that I do this, of course, you gotta empty it out, load up the dishwasher, or wash your dishes. The next thing to do, I sprinkle some baking soda in there. That way you get that extra abrasion so that you can really kind of scrape off anything that's ground into the sink, whether it's dirt or oil, without actually ruining the sink. I also throw a little bit of dish soap in there. The dish soap really helps to lift grease. That's the whole purpose why we use soap. And then I use a double-sided sponge. I use the scrubby side, and I just kind of start my way at the top and swirl down to the bottom, and then I finish up in the drain and that drain catcher. And then I crank the hot water, kind of hose everything down. I have that removable head from the top of my faucet, super helpful in this case. And the clincher is to take a microfiber cloth and buff that sink dry. The combination of the baking soda, the sponge, the hot water, and then buffing it, it's perfect. The way I learned how to clean really efficiently and really well was to time myself. Now for me, building up a cleaning business, time is money, but quality is everything. If we did a bad job and just rushed our way through a home, clients wouldn't have us back. So we had to figure out how to shave time off while still getting the same, if not better, results. And the way that we did that, the way that I did that, and then eventually the way I trained my staff, is simply getting out a timer. You understand the products, tools, and techniques, you do the assessment, you have everything in line, ready to go, and then you time yourself. And what you'll find over time is if you give yourself, say, 10 minutes to do a task, in a month, if you start to time yourself and note how long it takes you to get that done, or you challenge yourself to maybe shave a minute off, you'll see that you can actually do it. It's pretty amazing. So what I would say is challenge yourself and say, I'm gonna give myself 10 minutes to do this today, and then I'm gonna give myself 9 minutes to do it a week from now. And you will notice that your brain will just help you shave time off. The second thing you can do is set a timer to limit how much time you're gonna spend cleaning. That works really well for someone like me who doesn't like cleaning. I don't wanna dedicate a ton of time to cleaning every day, but I can give up 5 or 10 minutes here or there to do a task. I can put on a song or listen to a chunk of a podcast, and that feels good to me. And that's an effective and efficient way for me to get some work done without feeling overwhelmed. There are two kinds of people when it comes to cleaning. There are people who just love to marathon and do a full big cleaning all the time. And then there are people, more like me, who are just like, I do not want to do that, and I will do whatever I have to do to not do that for as long as possible. So I'm in that camp. And what that means is I practice a lot of preventative maintenance when I go through the house. That means essentially I'm doing a lot of little jobs to avoid having to do the big jobs. So what are those little jobs? Vacuuming. One of my least favorite cleaning tasks, but one of the most important, truly, because it keeps crumbs and dust out of the house. Next, dishes. We make sure that the dishwasher is unloaded so that we can always put dishes back in there. That way the sink doesn't pile up. As I always say, dishes are the bottleneck of the kitchen, and if your dishwasher is not unloaded, or if you hand wash your dishes, if you leave your dishes to pile up in your sink, that's the bottleneck. That's where the mess begins. Some other little things, I always talk about your hands being full when you leave a room. If I'm leaving this room, for example, and I'm going into my kitchen, which is just behind me, I'll take a glass, a plate, anything that I know has to go to the kitchen, because that avoids the buildup of clutter. Do you see where I'm going with this? The more things that you can do just as you're moving throughout your day to keep your house a little bit tidier is going to avoid you having to spend tons of time doing big cleanings later. Now that you have 15 real ways that you can improve your cleaning, I'd love to know in the comments down below, who taught you how to clean? Was it a parent, a grandparent? Did you learn in school? Did you learn online? Let me know in the comments. I learned kind of in a combination of ways. My mom taught me, but not through like teaching me. It was more like, do this, don't do it that way. Okay, so it was never like formal. And then when I started my cleaning business, I actually did a whole bunch of research. I bought DVDs, because it was back in 2006, and some cleaning books. The guy who I learned from, his name is Jeff Campbell. I thought he put out some really great material. Anyway, I'd love to know in the comments who taught you. Let me know in the comments down below. If these cleaning tips got you curious, you might like our playlist teaching you how to clean like a pro. It goes really deep on cleaning topics, so you can check that out. A couple ways you can support the Clean My Space channel. You can, of course, subscribe, and you can also check out Makers Clean, which is where we sell our premium line of microfiber cloths and cleaning tools. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.